Hello friends and welcome. I'm Sarah Liz and I'm back with another emergency card kit. If you're new here, emergency cards are a great way to stock your stash because most of these cards use interchangeable sentiments. They come in two key sizes. This is a 1 3/4 inch circle. And so if I wanted that to just say happy birthday, or if I wanted it to say happy Halloween, there are over 1,600 different sentiments that I've released over the past 2.5 years that would fit on this card. But they also come in rectangles that are 2 1/4 by 1 1/4 inches. Every now and then I have a card where there's lots of decorating I want to do, so I always create little strip sentiments as well that are easier to fit on cards like this one. These free sentiments are part of my mission to make card making more affordable and more accessible to everyone. Let's take a look at the kit. We're calling it Cutie Halloween because I don't do scary, but I love all the really cute supplies that come out around Halloween. And you'll notice I've tried to include lots of ways to stretch those supplies into birthday or hello or apology even. So we have You're a Real Treat, sending spooky hugs. You're the sweetest. You're a bootiful friend. It's good to be a crazy cat lady. Sorry I was such a monster. Happy Weird Awareness Season. Hope your birthday is the sheet. Happy birthday to my favorite boo. Hey ghoul friend, scream if you like cake. Tonight we ride. Booyah. Happy birthday. Happy Halloweener. You're so old, it's scary. These are a 1 3/4 inch circle, and you can use your punch or your die. And when you sort of wiggle it until you can't see the printed circle, you'll know that it is perfectly centered because the printed circle is just slightly bigger. I like the printed circle to help me keep everything centered, but the second page removes that in case you want to use a different shape or a different size of die altogether. Then we have our card sketch. I love this one. I think this looks a little bit like a ghost, but it's just an arch. And then these are little circles down at the bottom. Check your supplies. Whatever arch you have is going to work just fine. It doesn't have to be exactly the same size. It also kind of looks like the Pac-Man ghost, which I think is really funny. Then I've included a color palette. That's new for me. I'm not always great with color, but I really liked the palette from all the pattern papers and ephemera in this kit. And so I've included that along with some stretches sketch ideas as well. This page and the 2 pages of sentiments we've already looked at are available completely free right here on YouTube. So click on more or show more beneath the video and you'll find all the information you need. All I ask is that you subscribe to my channel. Then I do have a Patreon. It is a membership program and I have a free membership option over there. So there are bonus pages available for you in Patreon. Right next to the free kit download in the YouTube description are all the links over into Patreon, the post that you need, a tutorial video on how to join and how to join for free. But we're starting with these rectangle sentiments that I love so much because you don't need any punches or dies. You just use the tick marks on the side and the bottom. And we get 2 additional sentiments. We have If the Broom Fits and Let's Get Sheet-Faced, 2 of my favorites. Then after that, we have some pattern paper. So I've put these both on the same page. This one is slightly larger than an A2 card, and it's a non-directional pattern. So that will work beautifully for you either as a portrait or a landscape. And then over here, this one is slightly taller and slightly wider. So you can use it both directions. I can't fit 2 of those on the page, but I thought this worked really well for a Cutie Halloween. I love these ghosts, especially the ones with the little hats on them. Then we get strip sentiments. These are about 1/4 inch and you'll just use the tick marks on the side to cut them out. We have 2 whimsical fonts and then we have a scripty font and a classic serif font. I do have paid membership in Patreon and we have a lot to talk about today. First, you may have noticed the last couple of kits. If you don't want to subscribe to membership, but you want the entire big kit, like this is huge, you guys. There is a way to just purchase the kit without purchasing membership. Okay, so please know that's an option for you. It is linked both in the YouTube description and then in the post on Patreon. I had for a very long time, or at least since I started my Patreon, a $2 membership. It is being discontinued because I need to simplify. I go back to campus. I'm a teacher. I go back to campus imminently. And right now I'm making 6 different versions of each kit and it's just too much. If you are already a $2 member, you are grandfathered in. What you're gonna get is the PDF version for the $5 membership. So everything I'm about to show you for the $5 membership, you'll get that in your PDF. And that, I'm not sure how long we'll do that, but I'm sort of figuring out what everything's gonna look like moving forward. So at least for now. The difference with the $5 membership is that right now, if you sign up as a paid member, that is the lowest tier of membership. And it also comes then with a database where you can search by sketch, by kit theme. It will link you back to the video or all the videos that are related to it so you can easily get to those kits. If you want to search within that database, hit Control and F at the same time, or if you're on an Apple, Command F, and that will pop up a little search box so you can search for your keyword. So our $5 tier gets some really exciting stuff in this kit. We have all of our circle sentiments, but it's got this really great pink background that coordinates with our pattern paper. And then there's some sparkles back there. Mine were a little too far to the side, so I fixed that in yours, but I didn't see a need to reprint this. You guys, you'll get it. I trust you. So we have it with the pink background, and then we have it with this rich purple background. It's sort of an eggplant color. And again, I've moved those circles in on the one that you'll download. I just love the colors in our whole palette. Then of course it is Halloween, so you'll get those with white text on black. If you print these with a laser printer, these are great for foiling with your laminator or your mini Minc. Then I've done the same thing with all of our rectangle sentiments. So you have that pink sparkle background, and then the purple sparkle background, and then the white text on black. Then we get our strip sentiments in white text on black. There are 4 fonts for each. So we have 2 pages with the white text on black and 2 pages with the white text on purple. The text on these is small enough that I didn't put the sparkles in the background. I didn't want it to cause us problems. And then you'll get both of those patterns from the Patreon freebie kit, both in our sort of vertical A2 and then over here, slightly larger than A2 in both directions. So we have our gray ghosties, and then we have our pink polka dots. And then finally, we have our lovely ephemera. I think these are so cute. I just love them so much. And we get our great sparkle background, and you'll notice I've coordinated very carefully the colors here so that if you layered these 3 up, they're going to work beautifully together. The rest of our pages, and there are quite a few of them, will be included in the PDF for the Saskatiers and the Sassy Champions. These are the top 2 tiers of membership. They both get the same sketch database that the $5 tier gets, but there are some differences in there. You can hit Control F, Command F to search for your favorite theme. You can look through the sketches, but once you find them, there is a link to direct download. It will take you straight into my Google Drive so you can download the PDF of that kit, and their PDFs are all much bigger than the $5 tier. Then they also have resizable sentiments. So all the circle and rectangle sentiments that I have released, you get as digital stamps. The ones that are black text on white have a transparent background, so you can put your own color or textures back behind there. It's really, really phenomenal and a quick and easy way to make your cards. And then over here, at the $25 tier, you also get all of the images, all the digital paper, all the ephemera. We're going to have digital stamps today. Just you wait. They get all of that also as a resizable image file. And then they have a second database. It's a sentiment database. It has over 1,600 sentiments in it. And you can search by kit number, kit theme, when it came out, whether or not it has images in it, by sort of themes or tags for the kit. It is an incredible resource for really quick and easy card making. So these 2 tiers are going to get these sentiment pages. These sentiments are intended to be used with arches. So these are the essential arches from Spellbinders, and I'm going to grab this one. And you'll see I can sort of lay that right on top of there, and I can cut that out. I'll get my really great background, but there's some wiggle room. You could use a slightly bigger or slightly smaller arch, and a lot of your ovals will work as well. So these are the essential stylish ovals, also from Spellbinders. I love their nested dies. I just think you get a lot of them. Okay, so let's grab this one. Okay, that would also work here. Essentially, this is a half moon. It'll fit on a circle as well. So these are going to come in 8 different sentiments. Happy birthday, witch. It's just a bunch of hocus pocus. Then we have if the broom fits and tonight we ride. Then on this page, happy Halloweener. And I'm thinking like of putting fangs on a hot dog or using like a little wiener dog. I know it seems like a weird sentiment, but I've got ideas for that. Hope your birthday is the sheet. And then as we rotate here, we have it's cat lady season and sending spooky hugs. So 8 sentiments with the pink sparkle background, and then the same 8 sentiments with the purple sparkle background. And then there is a page that's just white. And again, if you have that Sassy Champion tier, you have these as a digital stamp, so you can put your own background right behind there and turn that into anything that you want. So 2 pages for that one. Then we have 16 additional pieces of ephemera. These do not repeat from the earlier ones. Up at the top, we have some fandom fun. I am not going to say the name of these creepy characters aloud. My friend Lauren Taylor over at Lauren Taylor Made loves these guys and has a couple of cards making them. I will link to some videos of hers. If you don't follow Lauren, you should follow Lauren. She's amazing. Then we have Dracula and a witch, a skeleton, and our little mummy. And then we have kind of a different art style. I just love how whimsical these are as opposed to that sort of rounded, super cute. Up here, we have another witch, maybe a witch, I don't know, just like kids in costume. I can't help myself. Like they're so cute. But I think the bottom row is my favorite, and I think it's this little Frankenstein. So our little ghost with bats circling overhead, our Frankenstein, our cat. I actually changed the inside color of the cat's cape and ears to purple, so it'll coordinate a little better with our papers. And then our ghost in shades, which I think is super funny. So you get that with the pink sparkle background, and then you get them all with no background. So you can use them as digital stamps and resize them. It's really easy. And then I took my favorites, so just my 8 favorites, and I turned them into digital stamps. Again, you can resize these. These will punch out on all 3 of those pages in that 1 3/4 inch circle punch, but you can also just run these through your scan and cut. Or again, if you're at that $25 tier, you can upload them into Cricut or Silhouette and do like a print and cut feature, which is super fun. I might do some coloring. Let me know what you think of the digital stamps. Would you use them? Do you like to color? And if so, what do you color with? I typically use Ohuhu markers. And then this one is the same page, but I have removed the circles around everything. Then all of your digital papers at this tier are going to come as a full 8.5 by 11. Most printers are going to have, it's called the bleed, where there's like a little white trim all the way around the outside edge. But if you have the option for borderless printing with your printer, you could print all the way to the edges. I love that without the header on here, you just get so much more use out of your paper. I typically am trimming down to 4 by 5 1/4 anyway, so I don't mind the bleed around the outside edge. We have this lovely polka dot pattern in purple, pink, light gray, a lovely lavender, and then this marigold orange for Halloween. So here's our full color palette, and I love this. And these are going to coordinate with all of the other pattern papers as well. So mine have a header on them. But mostly that was to help me keep track of everything. So just know yours will not have this header on it. And we get this adorable ghosty pattern. Again, you've got a little bit of that in the freebie kit and then the $5 kit, but we have it in purple, pink, light gray. We're going to run out of room, lavender, and then again, that sort of marigold orange. And then this is our last pattern. We've got all these witches' hats all over the place. I just think that they're so funny. So we have this one in the same purple, but then the colors didn't all work super well with some of the other background colors because we were sort of bleeding into them. So we have a much softer pink instead of that brighter pink, because the brighter pink is the same as the brim of that hat. And then we have our soft lavender, we have our gray, and then our orange is also much later. It's the same tone, right? It's just a lighter version of that same orange. And so it will still coordinate really, really well. All right, let's make 3 cards today. So I'm starting by mostly following the sketch. I have a piece of black cardstock that is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And then I've cut some pattern paper. This is the freebie paper from Patreon that is 4 by 5 1/4. And then I have 2 arches I've cut using the Essential Arches from Spellbinders. My arches are a little bit narrower than the sketch and a little bit taller than the sketch. I could certainly cut off the bottom so that I had room to put either some little circles down at the bottom to create the scallop or just a scalloped border strip. But I wanted to use this cat. We actually are going back in time. I assembled this guy a week or 2 ago when I first got him, couldn't wait to use him, and then ran out of time to put him on a card. So I'm flashing back to older footage. This is Bewitched. It is the Simon Hurley Spooktacular collection with Spellbinders, and it's so cute. And yes, it's a Halloween cat here, but honestly, this guy is ever so slightly scraggly. I love the enormous eyes. He could be used for all kinds of cards all year round, and I love that. To me, that is the sign of a good die that I know will get lots of use in my stash. It also then comes with this witch's hat and then Happy Halloween, both the words and the shadow. So there's our cat. He comes together really, really quickly. And then I had cut both pieces of the hat from purple cardstock, but I decided I wanted the hat to be black on the underside. I'm about to glue this together and regret it. So I'm going to finish assembling it, and then you'll see why. If you were using the hat by itself, this would work just fine. So anyway, I didn't cut off the bottom of my arches to make room for the scallops because my dies altogether were going to take up a little bit too much room on the card. Okay. So I just left it without the scallop this time. I put the hat on my cat with that back black brim on it and realized then the brim was in front of the cat. So I just stuck my little pokey tool in there and peeled it apart, and then I'll glue it right back on. But the brim is going on the back side of the cat, and that's how you make it look like he's wearing it. And his little ears are poking out on the inside. I'm adding my Halloween. I like this white on black here. And I just have little dots of glue I'm putting all over, really any place where there's a letter that's sort of hanging out all by itself. The top of the H, the tops of the L's, right? And then places in between, the very end of the N. And I'll tap it off on the back of my hand to get rid of any extra glue. If you are gluing onto a dark cardstock, like that dark purple that's the hat or the black cardstock, I feel like the glue shows up even more than if you were gluing, say, onto white or light pink. So I really like tapping off the excess glue. Sometimes I'll use scratch paper. Sometimes I'll use like a silicone mat for that. Pull something back out of my trash is my favorite trick when the dies are a little bit bigger. But here's our cat. We're going back to our card sketch, and I'm going to glue him down just above the bottom pink layer and then over to the right. To fit Happy Halloween, I had to overlap the hat. And at first I was like, I don't want to do that. But really, to me now, looking at it finished, I'm like, oh, that ties everything together. So I'll put it sort of cattywampus at an angle. I love when you can take Happy Halloween and then use one of our sentiments as a sub-sentiment on there to sort of stretch its usefulness, right? How many Halloween cards am I giving out? This is probably going to go to a coworker. One of my favorite coworkers' husbands keeps bringing snakes home, but last time we talked, he had brought home a cat, and so I felt like that was definitely a win, even though she wasn't sure about the cat. So anyway, I have trimmed out a black sentiment from our sentiment strip set, and actually I made these out of order, so we'll in one of the next cards see how we trim out the strip sentiments. But this one says it's cat lady season, which I just think is perfect. My sister probably needs this card too. It's a 1/4 inch strip. I added it onto a 3/8 inch strip purple piece of cardstock, and that finishes card number 1. For card number 2, we are making an interactive card, and it is shockingly easy. Look at that. You guys, I picked up this die set from Pink and Main at Paper Ganza. Let me know if you got this one too. It's the Hexagon flip card die. My cardstock is 8.5 by 5.5, and those 2 pieces that are going to be on my far right, those are score lines. And so I'm putting the die top and bottom and then on the far left. So it's actually not on top of the cardstock. It's just butting up against it. And the only piece that's going to cut out is where the hexagon is. This is essentially a Z-fold card. So I'm going to peel this away. You can see there's just those couple cut lines in the middle. I'm scoring my card base at 4 1/4 like normal. And from here, it's a Z-fold card. So I'm going to fold this down the middle, and I'm using my Teflon scoring tool. It's a dark purple cardstock. I don't want this to leave any marks on my cardstock, so that works really nicely. And then I'm going to take this short score line or pair of short score lines, and I will fold it back to create the Z fold. And now when I pull it open, that hexagon flips. It's so cool. And I've made flip cards before, and I've made them with dies before, but this one to me is just so intuitive to put together. And then there are dies like this one that cut out the exact shape you need to add pattern paper and decorate your card really, really easily. So this is using paper from the Saskatoon and Sassy Champion version of the kit. But again, if you don't want to do membership, I do just have a version of the kit's about 45 pages that you can just purchase the full PDF download if you want all that pattern paper. And I have cut my hexagon with scallops out of some black glitter cardstock. This die is also in the set. And then there's one more layer with stitching around it that I will use on the inside of the card. For our dies to decorate, I'm really just going to use one of these little ghosties. This is the Boo Crew. It's also from that Simon Hurley Spooktacular collection, and I think they're so funny. We have a couple of hats, a couple pairs of glasses, a monocle. I'm going to speed through this. I made all 3 ghosts, and actually I'm going to use the other 2 ghosts next month. I have made the card already, but it's going on another channel and not until the 4th. So I can't show you that finished card yet, but it's coming, I promise, and it's going to be so cool. So I have added my monocle. I just use the marker to fill in the pink cheeks, and then I'm going to add this little guy with some foam tape onto the back. I am using a combination of 1mm foam tape options from scrapbook.com. So that was the white 1/4 inch wide 1mm foam. And then I'm using Emergency Card Essentials die set number 2 just for these little, like, I call them unicorn sparkles. This is my die set that I designed for Trinity stamps. It has a pop-up in it that I really love. We'll get back to that for sure in the fall. I've got some ideas for it. But I just wanted to have a little extra embellishment on the front. And so I just stole the sparkles. Then on the inside, I cut another piece of our patterned paper. And I'm going to line that up so it's really showcasing the hexagon that's right in the center. And then we can add our layering all over again. So another piece of black glitter cardstock cut into that scalloped hexagon. Because the core of that cardstock is white, I went around the edge of that scalloped hexagon with a black marker. You could use a Sharpie. I found my Ohuhu black alcohol marker worked a little better just because the tip was a little skinnier, a little easier to get in there. And then it looks like it's on black cardstock. And then here's my pink layer where I used the stitched die. For our sentiment, I'm going to grab our circle sentiments. And because I bring these in a little bit further than I used to, I'm actually just going to trim off the very edge of this. And then that way my punch reaches in a little more easily. This one says, I hope your birthday is the sheet, like a sheet that a ghost is wearing. Come on, you guys. It's hilarious. I have a 2-inch circle out of black glitter cardstock. And then I have my 1 3/4 inch circle sentiment. There is a circle flip card die just like this from Pink and Main as well. I'll link them both below. I am not sure about the sizes of the circles, but I'm sure the circle is a little too big for our sentiment. But when that happens, I just add more layers, just like I did with the hexagons. You can see part of the back of the card even when it's closed. So I used a different stitched rectangle that's no longer made anymore, but I'll look for something similar to link for you. And I use that to cut out my pattern paper with the gray and white polka dots. And then here I have just cut 2 more of those scallops where I'll write my little message. And this is it, you guys. It sparkles. It's got this funny ghost. It's interactive. Losing it. I almost didn't include card number 3 because the video is getting long. This is the Make-A-Wish Arch Labels from Spellbinders, and I've cut it out twice Once from a shimmer white cardstock and once from just white cardstock. Let me know, everybody. Does it matter to you that this is going to be a 28-minute video instead of a 20-minute video? I'm never really sure. If I just made all the cards I wanted to and put them all in the videos, they'd be like an hour, which I genuinely cannot do and still put out 2 videos a week. But I also don't know if you guys are interested in watching longer videos. So let me know in the comments, what is your ideal length for a video? I have just ink blended up from the bottom, and then I used a slightly darker ink to splatter on there. And then this is the Raven Splatter Effects. It's newish from Spellbinders. They have this one, and then there's a sparkle one, and it just comes in like a little nail polish jar. So I don't have to dirty a paintbrush and then wash a paintbrush, because I mean, I will wash it and I'll wash it right away, but then that paint water is going to sit out on my desk until it all dries up or I spill it. 50-50 whether or not I spilled it. So I scored the second arch about a 1/2 inch from the top, and then I just folded that back, added glue, and then layered my ink blended piece on top of it. And then I have some adhesive back large googly eyes that I stole from my children, and we're going to add this onto our ghost. Doesn't he look like a Pac-Man ghost? Didn't I tell you? This guy's almost A2 actually, or I would have put him onto the card base. It's the only die in the set that is a decent size and has the scallops in the bottom. The smallest one does too, but it's a tag and it's pretty small. So I also cut out a little mouth from Emergency Card Essentials die set number 1. You could draw that on there. You didn't need to maybe do that, but I did it. I did it, and now it's done. I am using our strip sentiments for our sentiment on this one, and I just trimmed it so I can see the tick marks on either side, and then I line those tick marks up on the blade of my trimmer to make sure that I'm getting everything cut out nice and straight. If I had to eyeball it, there's no way. Once I'm done cutting it out, I will use just the finger guard to trim off either side to make sure that the letters line up at the same place. I have even margins, and then I go around the whole thing with an alcohol marker so it looks like it was printed white on black cardstock. I'll stack it up one more time on some black heavyweight cardstock just to give it a little bit of heft. I'm not even doing a matte on this one. And it says, let's get sheet-faced. It just slays me. As always, I would love to know which of these 3 cards is your favorite, which ones you think you might try. If you're interested in the free printable, all I ask is that you subscribe to my channel, then click on more or show more beneath the video, and you'll find all the information you need in the description box below. Thank you all so much for spending your time with me, and I will see you next time.